Hi there, my name is April Borschelt and welcome to my art YouTube channel. As always, if you're interested in supporting me further, other than subscribing and liking this video, which helps a lot, you can head to my Patreon. There I give a more in-depth view to my process. You get discounts to my Etsy, wallpaper downloads, early access to videos, and many more. I'll also be posting the unedited raw version of this video in real time so that way you can see my process even further and follow along if you like. Thank you for anything that you do. It really means a lot and it helps me to continue to create more content. For today's video, I am going to be breaking down a painting that I did kind of just as a warm-up practice for colors. I'm warming up for something bigger than this, so I kind of wanted to get my muscles ready to paint the big one. So in this video I decided to paint clouds because in my new painting that I'm working on now has a lot of clouds, so I thought it'd be good to practice. This is the photo that I used as reference. I took this photo outside near my neighborhood. I have a whole folder of foliage and clouds that I've taken over the years, and this one really spoke to me. I loved how there was lots of different colors and kind of like this fiery red sunset. So this is my own photo that I used. It's off screen, it's on my iPad, but this is what I used. This is a photo of the final product. As you can see, it's not very detailed. I made a bunch of 4x6 cardboard cutout things. They're from Canson, I believe. It's a type of paper. It's like an illustration board. Really simple. I primed it with gesso before I started, but that was it. I taped the edges to try to keep it clean, but you can kind of see that that didn't work out. Anyways, I also took a photo of the different paint that I'll be using in this practice painting, just that you can see the different brands that I use and the colors, because they do matter as far as like what you mix and stuff. So from left to right, I used alizarin crimson from Winsor Newton, super old tube paint, had that since college, probably should get a new one. The next one is ultramarine blue by Gamblin, cerulean blue M. Graham, cadmium red light M. Graham, Gamblin's cadmium yellow medium, cadmium lemon by Winsor Newton, and then a big old tube of titanium white I've had for a long time as well from Winsor Newton, and then Gamblin's solvent-free gel. Honestly, the brands don't really mean a whole lot to me, especially for a practice picture, but I really like M. Graham. I like it because it's very buttery, whereas the other brands tend to be kind of like thicker. So that's why I have the Gamblin's solvent-free gel, where I can mix it and kind of make it more fluid as I go. So bear with me, this is my first voiceover video, but I'll try. So here we go. I decided to mix the colors beforehand, which I honestly don't normally do, at least not with a palette knife. Again, this is like a practice thing, so it's not what I do all the time, but I thought it'd be good for me just to really discover what the colors do when I mix certain reds with certain blues, because I wanted to make sure I was getting the right color from the beginning. So this is great because I realized that when I mixed the cadmium red light with the ultramarine blue, it turned into like this really gross purple color, and that's not what I wanted. Same thing with the orange. I really had a specific orange I wanted to create, and that's just me playing around. I would highly suggest doing this, honestly, just mixing colors, like even if you don't paint, because then you'll discover what the pigments do to each other when you add them together, like when you mix them. So I think I decided on those colors, so I was ready to go and start painting. I decided to lay in the brightest color first. If I were to do this again, I probably would have kept doing that because I got greedy and decided to put in the sky. I learned later on that I really should have put the really bright colors down first, since I was painting this all at once. Oil paint is not forgiving if you layer darks or lights on top of it. At least when I paint, I feel like it's really hard. But yeah, I got too greedy and I decided to do the sky because I'm like, oh, that's easy. I should see what the colors look like surrounding this sunset part, but I shouldn't have done that. I'm also only using really 2 brushes for this practice run. They're both from Rosemary and Company. Really, really awesome brushes. They're just filberts, I believe. And then I'm also using Gamsol to clean my brush as I go. Because I don't want all of the different pigments to get really muddy, every time I'm done with a certain color or a certain color range, I end up cleaning out the brush, or I put it down and then I use my other filbert for the cool tones, and then the one I'm using right now for the warmer tones. Okay, so this is where I started really regretting putting in that sky, because there's this really bright pink cloud in the sky and I couldn't get it to show up. It looked so muddy, and it's because I had the sky blue down too early. So I actually ended up getting up and going to get Q-tips to wipe it away. And there we go. Yeah, there's the Q-tips. This is actually a great technique, especially if you're actually painting a painting too, to wipe away certain areas just to get that pigment to really stand out. Even if it dried and I came back to paint on top of it, I probably would have painted white and then waited for that to dry and then paint the pink again, because you really have to do a lot of layers if you want a pure brightness of something. I also set a timer for myself to finish this in about 30 minutes. That's what that little owl was at the very beginning. So I'm trying to, I want to be detailed, but not too detailed, so that way I can get to the rest of the painting. Another thing I would suggest that I didn't do here is I put in the dark stuff too. Well, when I say that, I don't know. I would put in the darks just so that way you know like what. Like, okay, for instance, my clouds felt really dull, like they weren't bright enough, and I think it's because I left that bottom section white for so long. And that's where those really dark trees, like the backlit trees, were supposed to be. And had I put those in earlier, I would have felt like my clouds were actually the right color. That's when, what's it called, where 2 colors are next to each other and they actually change what each other's color is. I don't remember what it's called, but it's definitely an artistic term. It messes with your eyes, pretty much. So I should have done that. I didn't do it. I think because I was not wanting to get a brush dirty with a really dark color yet. But I would do that. Don't do what I did. Do what I'm saying now. Also, the palette I'm using is literally just the glass of a frame I got at a thrift store, and then I taped a gray throwaway palette paper to the back, and then I taped the sides, that way I don't like cut myself. So it's something that you can do at home. It's really easy, really cheap, and I highly recommend it, and it's easy to clean. So what's funny is that so you saw that I just put orange on there. I didn't share that I used orange at the beginning because honestly I didn't like how it mixed. I know I'm trying to use it here, but I actually end up using my other mixes instead because it wasn't as bright for some reason. I'm also starting to run out of palette space. And I was just adding in the detail and then putting in the brightness of the rest of the sunset. Here's another point in time where I wish I had put those bright yellow pieces down at the beginning because I was fighting the paint underneath. Alright, here I'm finally putting in the dark tree line. See how much it makes the sky pop? I was like, oh, I should have done that way earlier. But it also brought it together for me and I was really happy with it. And here I make a signature color. I like kind of matching the tones of the entire piece to make my signature so it kind of blends in, but then you're able to see it. And that's it. That's my practice piece and my voiceover of my strategy for painting. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, I'd love to hear your comments, what you'd love to see more of, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks. Bye.